Now, in the beginning of this clip, where Savage is explaining what happened with the raid on the flotilla, you're going to start to think like, oh, is he going somewhere sane with this? And in the middle, you're going to think, no, probably not. And at the end, he just jumps off the crazy cliff. So let's listen.
But the big story is the Israel story, and you've all been waiting to hear what I, Michael Savage, have to say about it. And I think it's going to surprise you. You probably expect a knee-jerk response from me, but you're never going to get that from me.
No.
Because I'm not a knee-jerk guy. I've thought about this long and hard, and I watched it, and I couldn't believe what I was watching. And I don't believe either side on this, by the way. Both sides are putting out their own spin. But the most important story is this. Why is it that Israel, with such a vaunted intelligence service, such as Mossad, could not have known that, A, there were no weapons on these ships, which they claim there were weapons and they had intercepted for that reason. Turns out there were no weapons on the ships. B, why did Israel intercept these ships in international waters rather than in coastal territorial waters, which would have given them a certain legality, which they didn't have in invading these ships in international waters? Number 3, did you know that the Navy SEALs, the Israeli naval SEALs, were rappelled onto the decks of these ships without weaponry? They had paintball guns. That came out of an Israeli website. The Israeli soldiers had paintball guns. They were told not to shoot, even though they were being beaten. Moreover, why were they not released as a group of 5 or 6 SEALs who could have covered each other's back rather than one at a time? Huh? Did you think about it? You haven't thought about that. Now,
tell us why.
My question becomes a comment. The questions I just asked are very important. But the questions lead to this. Did Israel dangle their soldiers like bait in a tank of sharks? You can write that one down. Savage asks, were the Israeli soldiers dangled like bait into a tank of sharks by the Israeli leaders who thought that they'd get good PR out of a dead commando or two, or a butchered commando hanging there, butchered by the peace activists? But it went bad for them. Michael Savage believes these soldiers may have been betrayed for political purposes by their own government. I believe they were prevented from disabling the ships. I believe they were led to believe that those on the ship would be peaceful and that they were not armed. So someone in the Israeli military or the Israeli government should be fired. Someone must answer for putting these brave soldiers into harm's way for the wrong reasons. As far as I know, it was Obama's administration that told them how to do this attack. It was probably one of America's peace-loving generals. Who knows which one of them did it? One of the ushers wearing a military uniform could have told Israel how to conduct this raid. There are websites that are alleging that this was orchestrated not so much by Turkey, but by the United States from Chicago, by Bill Ayers and Bernadette Dorn, and American leftists who are members of the Free Gaza group. And he claims, I believe on WorldNet Daily, they're claiming that it was done by them. I don't doubt it. In fact, I don't doubt that it was someone in the Obama administration advising or controlling the Israeli military like puppets. That's how I see it.
Just when you thought Michael Savage couldn't get any crazier. All right, first you got the paintball guns. He read it on an Israeli website, so it must be true. Look, whether they had paintball guns or not, you know what else they had? They had guns. Because here's what didn't happen. They didn't kill 9 people with paintball guns. Okay, they killed them with guns. And the other side did not have guns. So that's a fact. He can't get around that fact no matter how many Israeli websites he reads. But put that aside. Betrayed by their own government because Netanyahu wanted his own soldiers to be lynched. Now, I think Netanyahu is a terrible guy, and I don't think he's interested in peace. And I've got no love for Netanyahu. But I don't think he wanted his own soldiers lynched. No, that doesn't make any sense. Okay, but what makes a lot less sense is that Netanyahu listened to Barack Obama, who listened to Bill Ayers. I mean, are you kidding me, man? Are you freaking kidding me? Bill Ayers? Bill Ayers set this up. No, but they live in a different world. These people, they have these lunatic conspiratorial theories where Bill Ayers from Chicago gets on the phone with a peace-loving general who gets on the phone with Obama and says, hey, you know what? Let's make the Israelis sacrifice a couple of their soldiers and then murder a couple of people on a ship in international waters, and then that'll do... What? Wait, what will that prove? What will that do? And wait, which side is Bill Ayers on? Which side is Obama on? I'm totally confused by this. Are they secretly pro-Palestinian, and hence they wanted this PR coup? But then if they are, why are the Israelis listening to them? Why do the Israelis want a Palestinian PR coup? Because none of it makes any sense, because Michael Savage is a lunatic.